Go CM again.
Yeah, it was a solid CM game. You don't really have anything to worry about. Just a very stable support to have nowadays, which is always nice to see back in. And able to a lot of spell spam, especially for the Earth Spin PL and potentially your mid pickup, which would want that as well. So we'll see what the call is here for Arkosh, taking their time. They do go into the Kotl, which is another way to keep that open. Spell spam is still in play, and you combine that with PL, with the Aether Lens into Octarine build, with the Spirit Shard, then you can start to really spam out those Spirit Lances. So there are some options there. 5ManMidas, though, Sand King comes out. That is one way to handle those illusions, right? Like, you've got great AoE now. Sand King plus Abaddon in the lane is potent. Sand King plus Mirana in the lane is very straightforward. Burrow into Arrow, we've seen that be successful a lot of times. So there is a way now for 5ManMidas to play aggressive early on in the laning phase.
That there is. Do you remember the time where PO and Keeper were like best friends? It was a long time ago, but the Chakra Magic, you just kept filling the man up and you just kept spamming lances. It felt like you could pretty much do that with anyone, but it was especially popular with PL for some reason. Can't 100% remember why, but like, it was a very consistent thing that happened. Till this day, it's like, okay, you have the spam with the lance, but was that it? Like, was that the whole point of it? That was literally it.
Yeah, there was a time when the Ag Scepter, right, for PL was a lot more bounces on his lance as well.
That's right. Yeah,
if I recall right. So yeah, there was a lot of value in just going for that combo. Arkosh do pick up the DP, so it looks like they are actually hammering in this PL Keeper of Light combination, trying to bring it back. Not going for something like, say, Ember Spirit would have been really good here, right? With the Keeper of Light, but DP does give them push. 5ManMidas go with the best response to the PL beyond an Ember. Leshrac comes in, so they do have the AoE on hand. They've got setup for the arrow. They've got good magic damage coming through, and they also have great push with the Leshrac inside. So a lot better of a tidy draft here for 5ManMidas. Nothing too funky, unlike last time, and this should be a lot closer in that sense because their heroes are a lot stronger in this game.
Sure. I do like the Leshrac, though, that came out from 5ManMidas. Like, it may be somewhat annoying into the Death Prophet, but overall, the Lesh obviously not going to have too much difficulty dealing with the PL. Unless it gets too late, in which case, you know, PL is just PL. Also with the Abaddon, just makes you feel a little bit safer running in as that Leshrac. It is one of those heroes, though, that does rely on having a pretty good game. Couple deaths on the hero and it kind of feels like it just becomes a non-factor altogether. That's kind of stood true for a very long time with the Leshrac. You just can't really afford to die too many times.
Yeah. And it's that back and forth timing they've got to watch out for here on 5ManMidas. We did see Pale Horse, he prioritized the Diffusal in the last game. So you're already going to have that early mana burn to deal with the Leshrac's mana pool. And we'll just have to see if that's going to be the case again. 5ManMidas do ban out that Gremlo tie that they did play last game. So paying respect to my place coming out here, Mike. I did have a good time there. And I'm glad to see it. I'm wondering what they will pick for me in this last pick. Arkosh will have last pick overall, so I get to be surprised by myself.
Okay. Could you explain why you missed that Ravage down at the bot lane then?
I didn't miss any Ravage. They told me to Ravage, Mike. I didn't miss. They told me to press the R button. It took me a few seconds to understand where the R button was.
Right.
But I pressed it.
Okay.
And we found a kill anyway. It just happened before the Ravage. So, you know, nothing lost.
Okay, thank you for that, Jonathan. 5ManMidas, last pickup now, looking for a position 1. No Alchemist, no Troll for them to pick up. They will go into the Bloodseeker. So another way to kind of clear out these illusions with the Blood Right. A very early orientated kind of draft, and it is one of those drafts where if they do have a bad laning stage, they have a bad mid game, they kind of just fall apart. None of these heroes really scale exceptionally well into the late game, I would argue. Maybe the Leshrac if he's having a god tier game, but I'd say you'd be pretty safe with the Phantom Lancer this game. Arkosh Gaming also have one pickup left, and again, it is your pick, John. No, it's not. You're playing DP, apparently. The Storm comes out now. That should be in the mid lane. So the Gremlo Death Prophet, John. How confident are you in your ability to play Death Prophet today?
Well, I do play a mean Death Prophet. I will hit some timings here. Have to play around my level 6, of course. So I'm gonna yell at the demons to group up, get some exorcisms off, get the objectives. Canis Vulpus on the Storm is gonna look for perhaps that Orchid timing once more. It is a good way to deal with a Bloodseeker because you can't rupture Storm. You rupture him, doesn't matter. He'll just zip around as long as he has mana. Mid matchup for Canis Vulpus against Alan's Leshrac is a bit steady. It's a back and forth one. Leshrac does have solid ways to find farm and maybe get some harassment off onto the Storm as well. So you will have to watch your spacing there. I have to say the Bloodseeker is a pretty genius way to maybe handle the PL. If you rupture the right target, he can't doppel out of it. So you're going to keep Pale Horse stuck in one spot. They will have to play fast, as you mentioned. Timings are very early for 5ManMidas. They cannot afford to allow Arkosh to just farm up and play a slower game, because once they do that, PL farm becomes very hard to handle. Storm with BKB becomes impossible to handle for the most part. And Arkosh is just set to build off of that. So we'll see if 5ManMidas can get that good start. We saw them struggle in the laning phase in that first game. This time around, they do have strong laners. They've got good lane combinations. Sand King Mirana is the one to watch out for in terms of aggression. And we'll see if that's enough here from 5ManMidas to give themselves a drawn series.
All right. Game number 2. They'd love to get a 2-0 if they could. 5ManMidas looking for a draw. Gotta say, in terms of drafts, I still kind of think Arkosh might have the upper hand. Alan. It is hard to play with your monitor not plugged in, for sure.
True. You scroll up as well. They were saying ready, and Crow's like, ready for what? And Monster's just like, ready. And Dougie's ready. I don't know what's happening here anymore.
Earthed my cheeks, stars. My goodness, Crow.
Oh boy.
Me.
And Goat still showing how cheap he is. Goat! Stop it, we know.
Oh, good. Oh, come on. Let's be careful with what we say.
God bless. This is it. Last game of the night. The demons are getting restless, Mike. They just want to get it on.
Teams, it seems like. I was 1,200 years old when I brought Arkosh into this world, mortal.
One could say it's simply too based, Mike.
Thank you for that, John. I heard you the first time.
I gotta repeat it. Look at Goat. Just doing the spin. Every Coddle player knows the spin. You have to master that spin if you want to master the Coddle. And I'm glad to see Goat does spin very well. Should be an interesting lane to have here as well. You're going to have Crow around with Gremlo. Of course, Goat is going to head his way top. They are going to be laning up against Lies. So there's a lot you can do here up against a Bloodseeker. Early levels for Bloodseeker, not fantastic. He can just focus on clearing the wave out with Blood Rage, but these are two, well, a ranged core with a melee support that can stand back. So you're not going to get as much harassment out onto that DPS you'd want here. He will have Duffy around to help, and this is one strength of this dual lane, is the durability. So you get the Aphotic Shield up, you get Mist Coil. It's going to be very hard as well to pierce through Lies and force him away. So it should be an even trading lane as the game goes on.
Well, we'll see how it does pan out. Of course, in the mid lane, you do have Alan up against Canis Vulpus. For now, Alan should have the advantage, but as you get the levels up on Canis, he should be alright. Of course, level 3, one of the big power spikes for the Storm during the laning phase. Alan will have to be somewhat cautious once the Vortex is up and ready to go. For now, though, both of them just sitting at level 2.
Yeah, just steady farming out for Canis Vulpus. Alan falling a bit behind in last hits. Never good news, but he has a wave shoving in. We'll see if he can secure those hits. Gives us time to look at the other lanes up top. The last lane, Monster is there with the Sand King, and Ikster's on that Mirana. You have Pale Horse on the PL with Goat on that Keeper of the Light, and this one is also slightly passive. And Pale Horse does have the Doppel now, so if he does see the stun coming out from the Sand King, if he's quick enough, he might be able to dodge, and that breaks the combination up with the Sacred Arrow. So there is back and forth there. Pale Horse is still finding a decent amount of farm, but so is Monster, which means our Coddle isn't really getting the zoning out he'd want, just focusing on the pulse to get some EXP.
So while you were talking about that, John, the mid lane was getting a bit spicy. Canis Vulpus and Alan going at it. So Canis did have a salve up, so he's going to be quite healthy now, but Alan Only really has one Tangle and one Fairy Fire left. Needs to be a bit more cautious, but in all fairness, Canis is a bit low on mana. Maybe just wait for those bottles to come out.
Yeah.
The Gremlo's having a decent enough time, although I say that, Blood Right, not going to connect.
It's a tricky one to land onto the DP, and it's really hard to kill either side in lane. You could maybe go for Crow, he's probably the squishiest one, but Gremlo's got the Spirit Siphon up. He can just kind of suck his way to life, and it can be hard to zone him out. Lies is finding a lot better farm in this lane, though. 12 to 3, not much the DP and Earth Spirit can do as well. Don't want to toss your bodies forward now that level 2 is up in Duffy, so it does end up rather even, and even is good for the Bloodseeker. You just hit your spikes, hit level 6, and get some initial items up, and you can start looking to run down heroes later on.
Ooh, Arrow gonna miss there onto Goat. Aegstar gonna go for a leap to try and chase down and kill this Keeper. TP might make it out, and he does. Very close call there from Goat, the old man making it happen. Aegstar not gonna be too happy about that.
Nah, missed opportunity. Very on the edge there for Goat, but does calculate that well. It's still down mid.
Ooh,
roll
Crow.
misses.
Yeah, misses the roll. Alan will give him the tip. Well, I'm surprised Canis didn't give him the tip, and Alan lets him know about it. Nice roll. Crow, no cheeks.
This match is something else. Still Pale Horse now forced the TP up top. Did have to go back as he was being jumped, and Canis Vulpus gives it out. Nice CS. I mean, it is nice. 12 to 2 up against 25 to 6. Canis Vulpus is taking control.
Yeah, I'd like to point out, while we have a second, by the way, John, Pale Horse did something very clever at the top lane. He was TPing out, and he was using his illusions that were left over to block the way so there could be no arrow to come out to cancel the TP there from Aegstar. It's a very high-level play there from Pale Horse. Very nice stuff. But back to what you were saying, John. Canis Vulpus definitely out-CSing Alan right now.
And, you know, Alan's just reminding us that he is playing on a trackpad to give themselves a bit of a handicap. Still no first blood here, 4.5 minutes in. A much more tempered back game from both sides as they are playing, well, I mean, they're trying to find aggression, but the openings aren't presenting themselves here.
Diabolic Edict keeping Alan safe. Canis just juking and jiving, trying to get this kill. He's going to try and sneak up behind him, I think. Alan doesn't fall for it, though. Still remains in the mid lane, and now Canis will see this and not waste any more time. Just wait for the 5-minute bounty rune instead. Down to the bot lane, a bit of a fight has broken out, but Gremlo not going to get hit by the Blood Rider. Now Crow looking to roll back in. Onto Lies, but Lies is turning right back around and getting some harassment out. In fact, this looks like a pretty nice kill for him. And as I say that, Goat's the first one to go down on the Coddle. He ends up dying a monster top lane. They do get the Earth Spirit down to the bot lane.
Great start for 5ManMidas, just getting that early aggression off at last around these bounty runes as well. So they get to secure themselves the first 2 kills. Lies get to bounce back a bit from this lane. He is still finding that steady farm, and Gremlo is actually falling behind here. 19 to 3, not getting the value he wants from the DP. That means the timings into that first exorcism is going to be delayed. And that means your shove, your push potential is slower, although...
Canis zipped a bit too far in, still happy to try and fight Alan. Crow is around with a roll available, and he will commit it now, but that Pulse Nova doing a fair bit, not quite enough. They had the damage. Duffy was trying to run in to secure a power rune, but he's going to get unlucky with that as well. It's going to be up top. Nice little illusion rune there for our Storm.
Yeah, gets him the full refill as well, so going to have the mana to sustain despite the Leshrac getting a bit of a reset. And neither side really setting up yet for any of those tier 1s. Sometimes you see an early movement out, but it looks like the focus is still on that initial farm, although Crow is trying to find an angle.
Rolled in, perfect from Crow. Boulder Smash, going to connect on the Sand King, but not really onto the Mirana. Salve up Aegstar, he's going to be just fine. 5ManMidas, they have got a 1k net worth lead for now, so things aren't going quite well as they catch out Goat. Arrow comes in. Goat doesn't really have much way to survive. Very nice pick off there from 5ManMidas. As the roll in again from Crow is going to be blocked off by Aegstar. Aegstar, he does still have 1 leap, so he should be fine.
Yeah, it's another good kill coming out from 5ManMidas, just getting that squishy Coddle in the back line. That is something their lineup can do quite well. They're just feeding off of it. They've still holding on to that lead, 1k up, 3-1. And Arkosh this time, we talk about the timings on Gremlo. You have to remember, they don't have that instant teamfight control, not like with a Ravage. It's more just sustained damage and push. Gremlo does have his level 6. They could look to maybe make a move down bot on that tier 1, but they're not quite set up, and Gremlo's just going to walk back home.
There is little hope for Radiant's middle tower.
And Goat's going to take over the lane for a bit, but Duffy is keeping him out. Everything going very nicely as Crow might even die top lane. It's being chased down by Monster and Aikster. Burrow Strike's going to be up very soon. Monster will just commit it to make sure they get the kill. Pale Horse looking to try and trade, but Aikster is going to hide in the fog of war and will just TP out. Meanwhile, mid lane, Canis dives a bit too far in. Even Gremlo's there in the Pulse Nova. It's doing a lot of damage, but now Gremlo does turn it around. Back onto Duffy now. A fighting shield not going to help him out. Gremlo, John, you're really saving the day here for Arkosh Gaming. I'm going to tell you, you're doing a great job.
Yeah, I'm playing around my level 6 quite nicely. Get a bit of a shove down mid. Not long enough to do significant damage, but it is at less than half. Still not ideal that Canis Vulpus does drop, so your Storm is kind of slowed down in this game. But Gremlo is just super active. Now has the Invis looking up top now.
Monster, double Burrow Strike into the Sandstorm, but he's still going to be ganked up from the south. They do get the Vortex off into the roll, and Crow will finish the job. On to the Abaddon. No borrowed time yet. Duffy's going to go down as well. 2-for-1 special there for Arkosh.
Yeah, just finding everything, evening out that kill board 5-5. They need to respond to Alan, though.
Oh, it's a nice dodge. Very nice dodge there on the Split Earth. They're not going to kill off Alan, but they will force him away from that tier 1 mid.
Yeah, it's just one Diabolic Edict away from dying, though. So Arkosh needs to get something done if they want to save their mid. Maybe apply pressure in the opposing mid if possible. But you're just tied into this cooldown and exorcisms. So they can't make a move until a minute in. Once that cooldown's off, and this is just time for the side of 5ManMidas to build up on lies. And then able to get that Javelin up, saving for the Maelstrom. And once you have the lightning procs flying through, you can easily melt through those early PL illusions, as they're not going to be that tanky against that damage.
No, they are not.
Should look to their
Top tier 1 going to be forced in now by Monster and Aikster. Nobody really there to defend. They just kind of let the tower be. Instead, they are focusing on that mid tier 1, which is certainly more valuable here for Arkosh. Duffy has been around to make sure it does get defended. And now towards the top lane, Monster and Aikster need to be a little bit more careful. As Canis is hovering around the area. Like they might just decide to go mid instead. They see the Lesh. Indecision here from Arkosh. They have smoked up to go top. Star hasn't broken the smoke, now does. Kane is going to zip right in onto the Sand King. They have the dust, but a Burrow Strike going to be duked down. And Monster still alive. Not for long. That Moonlight Shadow is actually going to last and let him survive unless Gremlo. Can you pull off a miracle here, John? Not quite.
No. Don't have vision.
Oh, he doesn't.
Okay, Gremlo. I mean, me. I did it. Blind into the tree line, just knowing.
Beautiful.
And that dispel from the shield looked good, but not enough. I think they got a glimpse from the sentry, just a little bit, that something was going on. They saw him pull back, so a nice pickup there. Exorcism was popped without taking an objective. Have to point that out. Never ideal, but they find some solid pickoffs. So overall, Arkosh still happy here. We are looking at Canis Vulpus to build into a Bloodstone first. So no Orchid plays. A bit different from Rayla Lisa this time around. Should be a steady build-up for that. Still slow going for Canis Vulpus overall, as he is bottom of course on his side. But Pale Horse has managed to take that bot tier 1 from that space, and
Oh, they're zipping right in for this. Sand King in danger, gonna try and get out, but there's no chance in hell. Now Crow, Ruptured, is just gonna TP right in front of their eyes. And they can't stop him. Gremlo, a bit trapped up, but they can't cancel the TP in time.
oh, Alan.
He's off the mark anyway. I don't think he can get in range in time to actually get the stun off. Nice little TPs out there from Arkosh.
Yeah, they make it work, and that is the weakness of the 5ManMidas draft. Their stuns are Arrow and Burrow Strike. And once you take out the Sand King, a lot of that has gone over Canis, camping Alan.
Trying to get those Static Remnant going onto the high ground, and Alan gets the heal, gets the Aphotic Shield, and Canis is not going to chase any further. Just let him walk out. Alan's kind of a non-factor right now anyway, Johnny. He really hasn't got enough farm to be that impactful as the Leshrac. He's kind of just stuck walking back to the jungle, back to the base, just over and over again. It's a very slow process for the Lesh.
And I'm surprised that 5ManMidas didn't get the deny off mid. That tower was low for a long time, but they hesitate, and it is a tower kill going the way of Arkosh, evening out map control, as both sides lose their mid and side lane, although roll.
Have caught out the Bloodseeker. A nice position 1 kill if they can get it. Canis, oh, the Vortex from a mile away. I didn't know if he'd have the mana. He was zipping for at least 2 seconds there, but he does make it in time. And he does have the mana pool for it.
Yeah, I mean, that's down to the fact that Goat just constantly stays with Canis Vulpes, gives him all the chakra he needs to stay active. And the kills are starting to pile up. 5 to 8, 1k lead now on the side of Arkosh. They have bought space out this time around for Pale Horse to get that AFK farm up. Has his Hood of Defiance, saving into the Diffusal Blade next. And again, that's the point where the PL can run up to the Lesh, melt that mana away, and turn Alan into more of a non-factor. We'll see if that's going to be the case, as you know, Pale Horse has just been uncontested. He's been given free jungle reign. We talked about 5ManMidas needing to play fast. That's still the case. The Bloodseeker drops off hard, although Lyse does have his Maelstrom, so he can stand tiptoe up against that PL. It's just that the rest of his team need to be able to do so as well. Monster needs a blink up, and I believe he is flying that out. So you have the options for a blink Burrow Strike with Epicenter on top. You need to play with his Spike.
Gonna go for the smoke now. Extra and a monster into the Die jungle. They could find Gremlo if they ran straight north, but they are gonna loop around. There are more heroes now. Crow and Goat may get caught out by this Epi, and they will go after the Coddle first. Canis around the area. There goes your Coddle. But with an Arcane Rune on your Storm Spirit, you definitely want to take this team fight. And they go straight onto the Sand King. But the Aphotic Shield is going to make sure he stays safe. Everyone else is just going to leave. The 5ManMidas, they do manage to at least get themselves a Keeper of the Light for all that.
I'm not sure if you're entirely happy if you're 5ManMidas. That was your blink reveal. That was the smoke as well. You got your ward dewarded in the midst of that chaos, and you only find a keeper. You really would want to find Pale Horse by surprise by that, but now he's going to be aware. Is just farming down bot anyway. A lot of space out for the PL. Lyse is still ahead in total net worth, though. Only by about 1,000 gold. He does have a Yasha on top going for the SNY, but
again, they want Egg-Star, that Arcane Rune. Still going, but is about to wear off now. Arkosh still hold on to that 1k net worth lead. Pale Horse now having his Diffusal Blade up, and he actually ran right past the bounty room. Oh, Canis is going to bottle up. Right, I was going to say, are we having one of those situations again where they're just going to leave it?
I half expected Canis Vulpes to deny it, as is tradition, but doesn't do that this time around. Still gets refilled up. They know the Sand King is here somewhere. They're rolling around, but the blink does make it tricky to find him.
Crow knows. Not going to do anything about it. He could try to roll through the tree. Won't bother.
Yeah. Monster very fortunate there because he does not have blink for half a minute. They are shoving in the top lane. Alan, of course, with Edict can melt towers fast, but fortify enough to dissuade them from fully committing. So Goat's going to be fine just holding that lane by himself. And they do just shove the creep wave down bot constantly. Although they keep rolling, they know he's still here. But Monster does have TP in a few seconds.
Did they scan or something?
I think they just figured that they haven't seen Sand King show at all.
Oh, Alan was being stalked by Gremlo, and he's picked off. He's gone. Duffy. Next one to be jumped. Canis doesn't have the Vortex right now, but it won't matter because Crow does have a stun. Borrowed time will buy a bit of time, but not much. be another kill going to the Earth Spirit now.
That I could kill you without pain.
Another 2 kills the way of Arkosh. 2 big kills for that matter. You start to wonder if this draft is ever going to take off for 5ManMidas. Now they smoke as 3, while 2 of their heroes are dead.
They've got Epicenter and Monster. I think they just want to use that blink up. They are pinging bot. Pale Horse could be caught out here.
Shadows take us.
Use the Doppel as well. This is terrible timing for Pale Horse. They're going to pop out with the Starfall, the Blood Rite, everything being thrown out on Pale Horse. Has to try and fight, but understands he is gone. Very unfortunate timing with that Doppelganger.
Still up
Alan?
top.
Once again, the Leshrac just not having a great time this game. It's going to be another death there, and another kill for Crow. It seems like this whole game is probably going to be on Lies now. Being a POS 1 Bluntseeker, I don't have much faith in it.
It's difficult to really carry the game on the back of a Bloodseeker. Lies, he's already got the SNY on top of the Maelstrom, so he can stand and fight. And Monster looking for Effie.
Yeah, they'll commit, they'll find Gremlo. Gremlo is actually getting quite low, but is still going to be able to walk away. Still no arrow. Does come in. Illuminate from Goat. It's going to be maximum charged, but it won't matter. They do get the Death Prophet kill.
Yeah, that's the bigger pickup with the Epicenter. Not a support this time, so a bit more worthwhile for that movement out. And they are keeping that net worth in check. Lies is being more efficient on the map, but the distribution of 5ManMidas is not as tight as Arkosh. Monster is lagging behind. Alan is seriously lagging behind on that Lesh as well. He's still saving up for the Yules. Does have the travels up at the least. It really needs the Yules to save himself and maybe get some self setup as well for the stun. Arkosh, probably just waiting for Pale Horse to finish up his next item, is going for the Manta. We'll see whether or not he is going to opt for that Aether Lens into Octarine spam with a shard on top of it down the line.
D-Ward's coming out here for 5ManMidas. Monster getting close to that Aghanim Scepter now. Meanwhile, top lane, Canis chase down Eggster. Still has mana to keep chasing. No leap charges left on the Mirana. Does mean she's going to go down. It's actually a dominating spree going the way of Gremlo, but Pale Horse once again dying. This time to Lies. Down that bot Radiant jungle.
Yeah, just all alone trying to farm up. They toss the Rupture up and just get control. And, you know, Pale Horse right now isn't that tanky. He does have the Hood of Defiance, but it's not enough to really tank through the front line. He is queuing up the shard. So it looks like the game plan is the same on that PL. We just have to hit that point on the hero. But 5ManMidas are staying in the game. Within 1k of Arkosh, massive farm on Lies. He's just going to try to go for the Butterfly to get some good righteous damage off. Although Canis Vulpus...
Yeah, gets the dust off. Monster is going to be in a bit of danger. He does have help on the way, but... Vortex comes out. Duffy is around. Burrow Strike is there. Canis may take a bit too much damage, but he does have the Bloodstone now. Epicenter arrow, though, going to fly in, and he does go down as he picks up the Bloodstone. And loses some charges for himself. Pro should be able to get away. Gremlo gonna chase down Duffy for a bit longer. He does have borrowed time. Here it is, but another Burrow Strike in. Monster gonna go on the Keeper, and they do get Goat. Gremlo still trying to fight all by himself. The Exorcism just going, doing a lot of damage. Pro's gonna roll back in, but Alan has some control for him. He does pop the Magnetize, but is it gonna matter? It looks like it just may, as Duffy does die, but Pro does also go down. And now a Rupture is there onto the DP as he does get Yule's up through the TP and is set to die. The only one to get out of there was Pale Horse on the PL.
And that's a massive swing now for 5ManMidas. 3k lead on their end. And Arkosh just getting a bit keen, overextending quite a fair bit in the bot jungle. They do not have wards in the area. That was taken care of by 5ManMidas, so it's an area they feel very comfy with forcing these engagements out. And Arkosh now have to go back to the drawing board. Wait for these items to fly out. Wait for your PL to be comfortably farmed. It's just very squishy right now. Lies is just flexing his right-click damage, and it is pretty big. He's got the Eagle Song sitting in, Talisman of Evasion about 400 gold off, so the Butterfly is lined up, and they've got the Ags now on Monster, so it's going to do a lot of work up against that PL. The range is, of course, ridiculous.
Alan.
Getting the applied.
He's been caught again at that top lane, John. He's gone. Not great news. 5ManMidas.
I don't think they mind too much. Alan's just so low in net worth that he's the least valuable core to lose. What's important is you protect Lies. Lies is the biggest money bomb on the side of 5Man, although...
They're going to jump in. Egg's not going to be targeted now. Doesn't have any more leaps, but does have the Aphotic Shield out from Duffy. Arrow does land on Crow. Boulder Smash, not going to be on the mark either. Canis still wants to go back in. Okay, he pops the borrowed time and doesn't really have the mana to keep going. But that's all he wanted.
Yeah, it's enough to send him back. You are at least buying space out, but at the same time, you're letting Monster just take control of his bot lane. You are trying to go for the top tier 1, but the TPs are in, and Gremlo is all alone.
Arrow is not going to land. Meanwhile, Duffy does start a Pale Horse. Fuels up Alan. He kind of stuck there now as Crow is around. They pop the Exorcist to go back in on the Mirana. They have also found out the Leshrac, and that'll be complete control for Arkosh as Alan. He'll try to buy a bit more time, but he's gone. And Pale Horse, a man of business, straight back down to the bot lane. Doesn't even care for the kill on the Lesh.
Yeah, he knows he's not needed for the push up top as well. What he does need is just to farm up. He does have the Ag Sharda. So he does have the Bouncing Lances out. We need to see the combination with Chakra Magic and see how much that does do in the end. Saving up for the SNY next. So there's a steady build-up still in the PL. Still lagging behind that Bloodseeker. Does have the Butterfly up. So Lies is a major issue if Arkosh does force this bigger fight. He can't just machine gun through a lot of these heroes.
Lies, gotta be careful to get caught out here. They are making their way back in through the dire triangle. Monster is around the corner and does have Epi available if he wants to try and commit to help out Lies. Instead, he might try to go onto Gremlo. Lies now initiating. In fact, Burrow Strike is going to be there onto Crow. Canis pops the dust, wants the Bloodseeker. Gremlo there to help out. They do Vortex him in with the Siphons. There should be a dead Bloodseeker, and Lies has been slowed up and does eventually die. And in fact, Duffy tried to come in and help out. So it's going to be no good though. He's gone as well. Canis. Oh, my goodness, what a zip in right after the Mirana. He really wants those Bloodstone charges. He'll get him. And now Monster's in an awkward position. So he zips in again, and there's just unlimited mana here for the Storm Spirit. It just never ends. He'll burrow one more time, but Canis has got the mana to keep chasing him up. He'll get a triple kill on the Storm. Does he want another? Alan's there. Won't be able to get him.
Yeah, I mean, it's the bounce back now for Arkosh. They found the big kill. And this is the one guy that shouldn't have died. Lies, just being far forward. The Butterfly
John,
doesn't do anything for him there.
They're drawing things on the map again, John.
Arkosh. They're demons. You know, that's what they do, Mike. Still, the lead now in Arkosh's end, 14 to 21, 2k up. They're almost at the point where the PL is just going to be a massive issue. The Bloodseeker, from that death, it doesn't feel like he's going to be comfy in the front without the BKB, and he is going to try to save up. Key now for Arkosh is to keep forcing fights to prevent the BKB from flying through. Our PL is not ready to fight against that. And he is going for the Aether Lens into Octarine, although
Rupture up. Blood right, not going to land, but the arrow will. But here comes Canis right onto the Mirana, and that'll be a very dead Egg Stuck. Monster trying to run, Duffy trying to help him out. Borrowed time going to be popped very preemptively. Monster, you can't help the Sand King right now. He's definitely dead, and Crow wants more. Rolling forward, he'll get the vision onto Duffy, so Canis can get a second triple kill. 20 Bloodstone charges now in the Storm, getting all of them back. They might even be able to get some towers. Back Roshan.
He's bigger. Should be easier as well with PL. Not the fastest Roche taking lineup, but they can get this done quite nicely. The respawn is going to be there on the Sand King, but 20 seconds is long enough that it won't matter. And that is going to be the first Aegis of the game going the way of Arkosh. No contestation coming out from 5ManMidas. Just dropping way too many heroes. Wait for this BKB on Lies. Very close, 2 parts away. And once you've got that, you can stand up and fight up against Canis Vulpus. They are going to give the Aegis away to the Storm. So 2 lives in Canis Vulpus. He can jump as far forward as he wants. And Arkosh now with 5k up. They're looking good here, but 5ManMidas still have opportunities with some BKBs.
What do you do though if you're 5ManMidas? It just feels like you're kind of outmatched in every single way right now. These fights are becoming very one-sided for Arkosh. Duffy now picks up a Haste Rune, does get Yulesed up, but Arkosh don't really seem to want to fight. When I say that, Goat is recalling somebody in. It's going to be Canis. Double smoke up from Arkosh.
Just to be sure.
Yeah. They're going to fight in the exact same spot, it seems. 5ManMidas, they're going to go to the low ground now, and the high ground is going to be taken by Arkosh. This is a really bad situation. They're going to go after Pale Horse, but it's already too late. They've jumped in from the backside. Canis Vulpus going to get the Leshrac immediately onto the Mirana. Everyone being controlled here from 5ManMidas. And this is looking like another one-team fight for Arkosh as Canis jumps in, gets another, and Monster getting silenced up and rolled on by Crow. And is controlled by the vortex of the storm. The domination continues, and Canis is very happy with himself.
Oh, that he is. He has really bounced back for his team. Just all those pickoffs he got after a disastrous pickup on the Bloodstone, losing the charges immediately. 24 now. Choose 10 over the old one, and Monster Flame, Canis Travel, Midas Jug. No Monster.
Alan's right. It's not his fault he lost mid. You know, it's the support's fault, as always.
As is tradition. Blame the supports. Still, Arkosh, take that top tier 2. They're eyeing everything else. Wasn't like that like a month ago. Bless. Arkosh. Just rubbing salt in the wound there.
They're real troublemakers, John. Okay, Alan gonna jump in. Rather get jumped on by Canis. He's gone. This is that point of the game where the Storm just does whatever he wants, and you can't really do much about it.
No, you can't. Canis Vulpus is just too far ahead. Is at 16k net worth. Really even distribution across the course on Arkosh. The only one standing out now on 5ManMidas is Lies, so all the gold has flown to him. We still haven't seen the effect of his butterfly beyond just tanking him up. And you are hitting that spike now on Arkosh. There's that Octarine core on Pale Horse. There you are. 3.8 seconds on the Lance.
Excellent.
Boom, boom. One more. No, he's not spamming. He only has so much mana, but still, this is going to be annoying, especially if he plays around with a Chakra. That's not even their priority. They take the mid tier 2. They still hang on to the Aegis for a minute and a half. So there's a lot of room here for Canis Vulpus to just jump up.
Lies still pretty farmed up on this Bloodseeker. Might have a chance of fighting back in this next team fight. Maybe. Pale Horse is going to go for the bot tier 2 tower. He's going to let the Siege Creep take care of the rest. While Crow is trying to get a courier here. He really wants that courier.
No,
I don't think you get to hit during roll. I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure that doesn't work.
Let the guy try. He wants to kill the other birds. He's the only bird that matters, apparently. Maybe Gremlo does the job. No? Gremlo?
Dip in, Canis, all about business. Straight back onto Alan. Roll in from Crow with a nice silence out. Onto 2 heroes. The Leshrac is still alive, but probably not for long, as Alan is gonna die. Meanwhile, in the back, Well, lies. He actually gets a kill onto Goat. And he's going to try and go onto Gremlo, but Pale Horse is going to chase him down. And Canis is taking care of literally everybody else. Another team fight one for Arkosh. They go onto the high ground now. With an exorcism, there's not really much to stop them. They call it GG is the call from 5ManMidas. A very fun series as Canis gives them the easy. Nice
Arkosh.
and easy.
Yeah, good series for them today. 2-0. Their first series win after their debut yesterday up against Penta Ace. That was also 2-0 going away of Penta Ace. Really good to see them come back in and the all chat. Arkosh Gaming just throwing it out there. The demons are happy. It looks like I mean Gremlo, I get to eat tonight. So I had fantastic time here. 5ManMidas, yeah, you know, you got to give it to them. And they did have 2 subs. That does affect chemistry, but it's been a rough time here in the BTS Pro Series 5, even without those subs. And they still have to look for that win elsewhere. Arkosh climbing up a bit. 1 loss series, but 1 series now. So they get to pull up a bit more. We'll see if they can maintain that as the groups go on.
We will see, John, but with that, that is it for us tonight. Of course, we are going to be back tomorrow for another day of the BTS Pro Series Season 5, but until then, it's MLP johnxfire, and we'll see you all again tomorrow.